This Lean Six Sigma Green Belt in India was a co-chairman of the Interoperability Kaiser team to advise the Obama administration on meaningful use stimulus guidelines. Currently, as director at Velamar Medical Hospital and Research Institute, he remains focused on the improvement of quality, people, and customer service. All his career credentials have not taken away his passion for photography, astronomy, cycling, archery, and hiking. His hiking record is just as impressive, with 120 hiking trails in 12 years. A warm welcome to Mr. Manick on behalf of CTC. We are eager to know your
Thank you very much. I see a good turnout today. Are we going to get this on?
Yes, boss.
So, no mic break போலாமா?
Yes. Yes.
So, மத்தவங்க யாரும் இருப்பாங்க?
Sound come.
Okay. Can I?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I see this crowd and I'm reminded of a simple story. There was a psychology class going on. So the psychology professor வந்து எல்லாத்தையும் வந்து, can I speak in Tamil also? Right? Most of you can English, Tamil, English. Anyone cannot understand Tamil? English? Okay, I'll speak mostly in English. And if I speak in Tamil, I'll translate it again. All right. So I'll speak in English a little bit. Okay. So the professor asked, okay, I want you all to tell me who's better, me or your mom? Everyone was like, what is this particular question?
Mom.
First thing in the morning. And then no one answered. He said, no, don't worry, I won't cut your marks and all that. Just tell me the truth. Then one lady from behind, she put up her hand and she said, Professor, you are definitely better than my mom. He said, no, you don't have to justify me and all that. Just tell the truth. No, Professor, you're definitely better than my mom. My mom can put only one child to sleep at a time. You can put an entire, right? So I'm not going to put all of you to sleep. Hopefully we're going to keep this lively, and the way to keep this lively is stop me anytime. We'll make it interactive. The more interactive it is, the better. Most people that have had experience of a number of treks, we just forget the basics. We forget the basics, and I'll tell you why by the end of the time we are into this conversation. So let this be a conversation. I'm going to start off by saying that trekking is typically your life. Now, how many of you have trekked? Almost everybody, right? Right? So you've trekked, you come back, and you've got another life. You come back fresh. So, what is trekking? How many of you know what language is spoken in South Africa? It's a West Germanic language. You cannot answer. Peter? Anybody know the language that people speak in Africa, South Africa, Namibia? Swahili. Give one more try. It's a West Germanic language.
Traditional Tamil?
Traditional Tamil? No, it's called Afrikaans. How many of you have heard of the Afrikaans, right? Afrikaans is a word called trek. And that's a noun. And the verb is trekken. And trekken means to pull, to travel. That's where it started. So people interchangeably use trekking and hiking. Here in India we use trekking mostly, thanks to Peter now. He's got that Dutch upbringing, so he's brought it here. So trekking is not backpacking, it is not mountaineering. Okay, trekking is walking by foot long distances. And in fact, we have seen, we don't know when trekking really started. But as far back as 5,000 years ago, Otzi, the Iceman, we found the skeleton of a guy, kind of a fossil, up in the Alps. So he actually, we know that that's probably the first man who has trekked long distance. There was no need for him to climb the Alps. Absolutely no need. Any animal he wanted to kill, he probably found it down there, but he traveled up. So there was some reason for human, even as long as 5,000 years ago, to go up, to travel. So Otzi was the first guy. Then we had, how many of you have heard of Gurkhas? Right? Now, Gurkhas, typically, they were the first people to bring trekking, adventure trekking to the Himalayas. Right? There was a guy called Colonel Jimmy Roberts, an excellent guy. He used to trek a lot, and then he said, okay, I'm just going to make something different. So he started pitching tents, carrying tents, pitching tents, taking them to different base camps. And at that time, it was something astounding. People did not even think, because it was a way of life for people. And here someone is taking it as an entertainment, pitching tents with the Gurkha, Sherpas and all that. So we saw that trekking became part of life, into mainstream life, as early as only about 1965. Prior to that, people just walked. They just walked and walked. And they walked, and they even created something called the Silk Route. Right? From China, across India, Persia to Europe. This Byzantine, Arabia, Africa. But we saw that people were walking here for trade. They were trading in silk. What else do you think they were trading in? Spices. I'm sorry? Pearls, gems, precious. I'm sorry?
Silk, of course. Silk.
Silk. Yeah, started with silk, right? So they traveled because there were people that said, okay, I want to go ahead and see a distant land and exchange something. So they came into, as we call later, a barter system, but at that time they did not know about barter. They just said, I have something here, I'm taking it forward. So they actually exchanged fish to grains, for example. But if you're traveling with fish, how long can you travel?
1 day.
1 day, right? And you put masala, how many days can you travel? As long as? We need to ask Pring. He's an expert on
Donating blood.
donating blood. Okay. So you can put masala or you can dry the fish, right? You can take dry fish which is karwad. So you can do various things with the food that you carry and actually take it long distances. And so people were traveling long distances to be able to barter, and for them to take some food also, they took some food with them. And of course, they took some technology with them. They showed how people can make cloth out of silk. Silk was not easily pliable. So a lot of things happen when we travel on foot. Actually, the world changed. But even prior to that, we traveled for hunting. But travel for hunting was not really a travel. It was not a trek. It was more of just running and killing. But trekking was a very specific journey that people took. How many of you have heard of ancient Tamil literature? Periya Puranam, Kural. Can you give me some more?
Nivya?
Nivya? Pattu Paattu, Thasalapadika, all of these things.
Kundalakesi, Valayapadi.
Okay. Now not only South India, I'm just giving an emphasis on South India because we're here and most of us can understand and identify with the things that we studied when we were in LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard and so on, right? So, Aattupada is probably something that we might have had at least one verse during our maybe 8th, 9th standard, I don't know. I don't know if they still teach. But Aattupada means Vali Koduthu, meaning showing the way. And there was a certain set of showing a way back during the Sangha Kala, which was between 3rd century BC and 3rd century AD. There was a very golden age in South India called Sangha Kala. And at that time there were a lot of people that were very good in verse, in poetry and all that. So they would go to kings, emperors, and then they would say, they would glorify him. They'd say all kinds of good things about him, and he'd feel good about it, and he'd give him some money, some gold coins, some food, some whatever it is. So people found out that you could actually say something good about people and make some money. What they did was, okay, let's do something. I found how to do it. I'm going to go back to my village, and I'm going to tell my friend how to go and get this guy. Right? So how do you go find this guy? You got to walk. So how do you walk? Where do you walk? So they came up with an Aattupada where they say you have to go through this environment, you will have to come climb through this hill, blah blah, all of these things. And then finally it also says something about the guide, so that this guy already knows what that guy is looking for. So when the guy goes there or the son goes there, he will say something something more spectacular, and you'll get 5 more coins on the previous card. So people knew how to make money by just talking about other people. And at that time, we had this beautiful way of expressing how to get them. It was not just the way, but they would describe the environment. So that's how we now know Nadal, right, barley, all of these, the 5 varieties of land, we now know how it existed way back 3th century BC, just because these guys came up with these things. And these people were the early trekkers. They were trekking for the fun of it, for making money, and again, poverty. Money push, lack of money pushed them to go and do this. So Arthropody was very relevant. How many of you have read the Bible? Some aspects of it, right? Now, do you know that Jesus also was a trekker?
Yeah.
Do you know where he walked from? Some Himalaya. He did not. No, Himalaya. That's a story that people come up with. I'm sorry to say, I cannot. I don't. No one has a certain group, but in the Bible, there is mentioned that he walked from some place to some place. Can you be more specific? There are at least
Jerusalem, something connected.
Jerusalem is one place. Let's say you start from Jerusalem. Where else could he have walked to?
India.
To the Dead Sea.
Persia.
Egypt.
Egypt, Persia, India, Greece. No. Okay, how many of you guys go back on an annual trip to where you were born?
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem. You went to Bethlehem, right? Right? So we take a train, go back to our Madurai, which is somewhere, and come back, right? Likewise, Jesus also walked from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. And he also walked from Jerusalem to Nazareth, places where he grew up and all that. So we know that, and these are actually stated in the Bible. So we know that he was being dead and all that. So what they were doing is they were sat and talking. At that time, Jesus, who had come up alive, he actually walks with them, and he actually asks them, "What are you guys talking when you're walking?" Right? I mean, he's actually asking them because he's trying to find out how sad they are. But let me ask you this: do you guys talk when you trek?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Have you come across anyone that does not talk? Hopefully not. Rarely. But when someone does not talk, what do we do?
We'll try to stop.
Sorry?
We'll try to communicate.
We try to communicate. So let me ask you, Nivya, you do a lot of heritage treks. Do you talk? What do you talk? Everyone's laughing because I think they cannot shut their mouth. Maybe?
No. He doesn't talk.
What do you talk?
I just have to talk
Coordination. But do you talk to people when people ask you something about okay. So there is a very simple reason for you to communicate. What else do we talk for when we are on a trek? To forget the fatigue. I'm tired, I don't want to think about the tiredness, and then there's one big hill that we're going up to, and plane says, "Oh, everybody, come on, run," right? And then someone else says, "It's all the way up downhill, right?" So you want to forget the fatigue. What else?
When Prem steals the chicken piece.
What else? What else do
Like
you talk about?
motivate if the guys get lagged on, so
You
motivate.
motivate people.
Come on guys, we can make it.
What else?
Random stuff.
Random stuff?
Make fun of
Are
everything.
you talking about Vishwarupam?
Yeah, anything and anything.
Anything under the sun, right? So, I'm sorry?
Wildlife.
Wildlife. The people are probably saying, you know what, I saw a pig last time I came here, right? There might be stories, there might be real. People might say, we saw a bear, we saw...
Mostly stories.
I'm sorry?
Talk about previous texts.
Talk about previous treks. Important. You are always recounting the past. So when you are on a trek, you're living in the present, but also going back to the past. What else are you talking? About the silence sometimes. What else? Are you planning for the next trek already?
Yeah.
Right?
When we are nearing them.
When you're nearing the end. Some people even start about the next one, the very beginning itself.
Talk about the dabans and the evening.
They talk about the Napa on the way back. Right? About the chirps of the bird. You hear people talk about the bees, they show the bee hives, we say, hey, be careful. So everything under the sun we talk. And it's actually a great place to start talking to anyone. You do not need a reason. If you're in a mixed group of men and women, no one's going to stop you from going and saying hi to Lydia. Right? No one's going to stop you from going and say hi to a guy who you've never met before. And this is exactly what happened earlier. These guys just started off. A lot of times they'll be all on their own. And on the way they'll ask someone, okay, I don't know how to get to Madurai. Can you show me the way? And they'll show the way. And then they'll probably stop by, talk, exchange. How many of you share your food? I know you share your food.
Yeah, most of people.
You guys bring your own food also?
Yeah.
Right. Now,
Fight for it.
under conditions apply. Right? If you bring chocolate, some good chocolate, maybe conditions apply. You're falling back, you eat it wrong, and then okay. So, one of the things that happened, those days of trekking was people found that they could actually come up with spectacular viewpoints of view, belief systems, when they're walking, because they've got nobody else to disturb, and you got just yourself. In fact, trekking is the one sport you don't have to compete with anybody. You're only competing with yourself. You're only looking at yourself inside, and you can start thinking, and you can say, okay, you know what, by the time I'm done, I'm going to write a book. Most of us write good articles, we publish it, and we're very proud of it, right? So, one of the things that I've seen CJCNs do, a very spectacular thing that no other trekker in India has done. Can you tell me what it is?
Right up.
Right up said, a lot of people write, give me something else. Spectacular.
Environmental.
Environmental consciousness, everybody does that. Photography, they do it.
This even?
Generally, all CJCNs, most CJCNs, we do social work. We go to orphanages. We say, okay, why don't we take you all the kids, and we give them a good time. But even before that, something very spectacular. Post-trek meetups. That's a wonderful thing. I mean, it's not just a day. It's not just a train journey, right? When you get into a train, you forget people. No, you actually come back and say a few days later, we saved some 400, 500 bucks. Let's all have a post-trek party.
Nobody has ever heard of 15 varieties of food in a single day.
There you go. I think that is the crucial thing. Our CTCNs, we take vessels, we take ladders, we take oil, we take fire, we take everything, and we create breakfast, lunch, dinner with gulab jamun.
Yeah.
And alwa the last day. So now that's a wonderful thing. Just to imagine what a spectacular new point of view we created in South India, right? I mean, people maybe when we went to Satunu Dam with our parents, I don't know if you guys did, but I did. They would probably have some kattuchoru, puliyodara, some thai sadham and all that. No more puliyodara, no more thai sadham, right? We're talking about biryanis. We're talking about fish curry.
Fish fry.
Fish fry. And the gulab jamun first thing in the morning.
Kesari.
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 And if Venkat is not coming, he'll send a half kg of alwa. Maybe 1 kg.
Murg sir.
Murke. But again, think about what's happening to you guys when you're going on trek. Whether you're trekking outside of this country or inside this country, you are sharing. You're always sharing everything that you are unto yourself. And that's what makes trekkers different. They really are a different lot. I trekked all over the place, in Europe, in the US, here, and I've seen that there's a common thread among all trekkers. They are the most accommodating people. Hey, you can come into my car, man. I have 6 people, I can take 2 more people. You sit on somebody's lap, it will go. Right? Something happens during the trek. We carry them. Someone's got a broken ankle. We help them out. Someone has run out of water. We give our water. Right? I mean, the sharing comes so easily once you start trekking. And actually, that's the most natural behavior of humans. We are natural givers. We really are not really selfish people. We are really natural givers. It's just that we don't know who to give to when you're away from the forest. In the forest, in the trekking, you know who to give to. There's 10, 20 people. You love them all. You work with them for the next 2 days, 48 hours, and you're back. So it's a very nice way of taking those lessons back to life. So we'll come to that also. So we tried, I went through some basic things. And I'm going to run through some benefits of trekking. All of you would know this. I don't need to explain any of these, but it's definitely to make new friends. You improve your metabolic rate. Well, you talk more about it. Very good. Reduces elevated blood pressure, prevents heart disease, gives a great cardio workout, controls obesity, prevents osteoporosis, keeps a check on diabetes, improves mental health. A whole bunch. Anyone can add more? You can add 50 more.
It's cheaper than watching a movie at Saturday.
Well, actually, congratulations to all of you who are not in bed, who are not watching TV, but who are here today. At 10 in the morning, you guys had to wake up this guy who was up until 5:30 in the morning, and then he had his mom wake him up because something important was happening. And he woke up and he's here by 10 o'clock. So, I mean, congratulations to all of you. True, JB.
JB.
Anyway, you can add a whole
One
bunch
more
of things.
benefit in this,
Yes.
very important, the affection, love, friendship, it's all getting created in this.
Actually, outside of the trekking clothes, when we meet each other, post-trek parties or even outside, I mean, I've come across so many people. I would go for a walk and then I'll see Massimo jogging, preparing for his triathlon. Is he here now? He's gone out. Okay. So we come across people in our lives, especially if you stay in Chennai, you will come across a lot of trekkers, and somewhere or the other, when you go for a party or a function, it's a great piece of conversation. All you have to do is start talking about trek, and you have the entire crowd around you. Right? How many of you have experienced that? Right? And are you proud of it?
Yes, sir.
Right? You're really proud of it. You actually enjoy it because you know what? That's one thing under your control. You know you want to trek next week. You can talk to your mom, dad, give some excuses and walk away for a whole day and come back, and that day is yours. Right? How many of you don't tell your parents that you're going on treks?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Right? Otherwise they're going to say, no, I'm going to England. Right? But how many of your parents are actually comfortable that for the women? Are comfortable that you guys are going with a whole bunch of guys? Right? You're very comfortable. And the reason is very simple. Your other trek guys are actually calling you on the phone, talking very sincerely about the trek and all that kind of stuff. They're probably even dropping in at home. There is no agenda other than just saying they will go have a nice time. Right?
There's one more thing you forgot to ask.
Yes.
How many of them asking their wife permission to do?
He's a newlywed.
Maybe after 3 months we know that.
It takes about 3 months to get used to it. Don't worry. My wife was Tani Telchupe. So I think I had her trouble for the first 2 or 3 treks. She tried to join in and then she said, there's no way I can join you.
Actually, my wife cooks idli for everyone.
Cooks idli.
Last cycling trip we had excellent idlis from.
So when is the next week?
Post-trek meetup நிறைய எங்க வீட்ல நடக்கும்.
I'm sorry?
Post-trek meetup நிறைய எங்க வீட்ல நடக்கும்.
உங்க வீட்ல?
ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் கால் உடைச்சுக்குவாங்க வேற வழி இல்ல.
Well, actually, there's another thing. The benefits. Because of this, you are able to come across a cross section of people in various industries. One of it actually is one of the best physios in town. I actually go to him. He's cured my back, hurt and all that kind of stuff. So he's a great person. Then we have a L&T guy, Karthik. We have Ray. We have so many people across the spectrum. And Ganga. And then you can actually ask for help. One day I had not even known Massimo at that time. He just called me and said, sir, I'm somewhere near Vellore. I have a problem. One of our guys has got a hurt. I don't know what to do. All I had to say was, don't worry about it. Just go to the nearest diagnostic center, take a scan, and if the doctor says you're okay, come out to my house. So simple. So you'll always get connections. So that's another great benefit. Now, and I'm going to come up with some populist lessons. These are lessons that you all can identify with. First one is, life is full of surprises. Right? How many times have you been surprised when on a trek?
Every time.
Every time. Nagala, how many of you were totally surprised when you saw the first, it blows your mind, right? The very first thing it blows your mind. The first time you step into the water crossing, you're like, you don't want to go any further. And then the guy has to say, come on, there's something more upstairs. It's really full of surprises. And most of us live in day-to-day compartments. When you go trekking, you can just take off completely. You can come back recharged. When we're out, you have to lose at least some. What are the things that you might lose? I'm sorry? Weight is one thing. What else you might lose?
Ego.
Ego.
Tension.
Wonderful. Ego. Actually, you lose your ego when you go on trekking.
Yeah.
There's no big guy or small guy, no able-bodied guy or less able-bodied guy. The more able-bodied guy will probably help out the swimmers and the non-swimmers, right? It actually is an equalizer. Trekking is a beautiful equalizer. It gives you the access to your innocence.
Even if somebody has ego, his ego will be smashed and he'll be free after that.
He'll be free. He'll be freed after that. No more egos after that. You don't have to do your hair. You don't have to wear perfume. You don't have to do any of that. You can just be yourself, have a fun time, lose your ego when you come back, and actually the next time you go, you'll have a better experience. You can always live alone, but you always need people to have fun. That's what trekking provides. There are many ways to achieve greatness, not just one, and you will actually see every time you go on a trek. And recently I saw again one of the trekkers put up 20 best spots, right? So that 20 best spots or falls? 30, right? And every one of those 30, if you had gone, you're even greater than the previous one that you had gone on. Again, it's not to compare yourself with anybody. It's all your own. It's your own competition. So you can become better and better every time you get on to the next trek. The baggage makes you. Typically on a trek, you can undo your baggage. You can talk to people. I ask, what do you do? What do you talk when you're on a trek? Sometimes you strike a wonderful relationship with some person, a co-trekker, and you pour your heart out. The baggage is all gone by the time you come back. Right? Am I right there?
Yeah.
Right? Baggage is completely gone.
Literally, the baggage will be gone.
Will be gone. Actually, yes. And I have seen people say, give me a bag, you just climb down on your own. Right? So your baggage literally is gone and your emotional baggage
Sir,
also is
special
gone.
credits for Jagdish regarding this.
Jagam, yes. Thank you, Jagdish. Always lend a helping hand to others if you are in position. No one needs to ask this at all. No one needs to say, hey, can you carry me up there? Can you give a hand? Smile and spread happiness. Expect the unexpected, including these. More difficult, more teamwork. This morning, I thought they were putting a trap for all speakers. If speakers didn't speak well, I thought this was going to come down on them. But I saw teamwork this morning, right? I mean, this morning someone woke up to say, you know what, we're going to put a bike up there and it's going to look cool. And then they started putting this up and Peter was right there behind and said, no, it's going to obstruct the view of people from behind. These guys just turned it around, put it there, stuck it there, and moved, done. I think about 7 or 8 people, maybe engineers, but they did a great job. And hopefully no one's going to unleash that, right? So teamwork. Can you go to the next one? Next slide. No. Okay. And it's actually no. Okay, I got it. It's an antidote for anxiety. You have an exam a couple of weeks from now. I would say just go for a short walk. You don't have to go to Naga. You don't have to go to the garden. You can just go for a short walk. A simple walk is a trek too. You can walk around your neighborhood with no agenda, no need to meet anybody. Just walk, and that will take a little part of your anxiety. Not all of it, but at least some part of it, because you are walking. Anytime you are walking, you're thinking better, right? If you guys are sitting, I'm thinking better than you guys. Right? So that's why, in fact, most of my meetings at work, I try to keep it a standing meeting. Everyone stands, they're at their best. Make the meeting quick, 10 minutes, and you're done with it. Right? So, it's an antidote for anxiety. Now, life qualities. I want your interaction now. What are life qualities do you think that you have observed when on a trek?
Sharing food.
Give up on unnecessary stuff.
I'm sorry?
You learn to give up on
You learn to give up unnecessary stuff. What else?
Like we can understand people each other.
You
Like
can understand people better.
See, the
When you start
communication quality is increased. No.
Communications capability.
Capability, yeah.
Right?
Not quality. Capability.
Quality capability. Discipline.
sincerity and dedication.
Sincerity and dedication. Wonderful.
responsibility.
I'm sorry?
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
Confidence.
Confidence. Think about all these. I'm sorry?
Sharing.
Love actually. And actually, that's a very important part of trekking. Love for a human being. Love for a human being as an equal. Love for a human being as another person who's here to enjoy this world as much as you can. Right? That's a wonderful. What else?
Positive thinking.
I'm sorry?
Positive thinking.
Positive thinking. Yes. And I actually want you to, next time you go on a trek, I want you to start taking those lessons right from there to your office. Time management. How many of you do time management when you are trekking? Or before trekking? Are you getting ready by 5 o'clock? What time is your bus or bike or car leave? Right? 4:30, 5. You have to be there. You're late, you have the other guys looking down on you. Sometimes. Right? So time management is a very important thing. And again, why is time management important while you're trekking? The batteries are running out. You don't have flashlights. You're running out of food, running out of water. You have to do something, not just sit around. So a whole bunch of things happen right there during the trek. And the leader is always trying to keep time. Right?
We can live without gadgets.
And you can, yeah, that's another lesson. You can live without gadgets. All you have to do is make sure that you somehow get to know the timing, at least by knowledge that okay, another half an hour it will become dusk and then we have to be in safe places. Adjustment and acceptance. Right? We adjust with everybody. We are fully accepting of the other person, of his limitations, of his overwhelming conflicts and everything. Cooperation, empathy. Right? Are we ridiculing anybody just because they cannot climb one particular rock? No, we are never judgmental. Again, I'm pointing out to very simple things that we take for granted when we are trekking. But these are very simple, good life lessons. All we need to do is bring it back to our homes, to our offices, and if only we can bring everyone trekking, I guarantee that this entire planet will be much better off in every manner. Right? And then empathy is one factor that will make it happen.
Learn to trust people actually. The first time I jumped into water, I didn't know swimming. Just because a guy told, I'll take care of you, I jumped into water, deep water.
Wonderful. He says, look, I did not have confidence in myself. Wonderful. No trust in myself. Or even on my fellow human beings. And then finally one guy said, no Machan, Budhi, just jump. Nobody will take care of you. I'm sorry? Yes, exactly.
ಯಾರದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಕುರಿತು ಸಂಬಂಧಿ
Suresh was there. Okay. So you learn to trust. You really learn to trust. You develop the final quality of living. So in fact, by the time you start your trek and when you're done, it's a full life cycle of life. It's almost like, okay, I'm born, getting up, doing things, and by the time I'm done, I'm deadbeat. Right? Go home, sleep, wake up the next day, another reborn person. But through this all, let me ask you this. How many of you, think about the first trek that you ever did, okay? How many of you thought it would be great, easy, fun and all that? Right? Everyone thought it was great, easy, fun. How many of you found it was not really too fun sometimes? It was not too easy at times, it was not too great at times. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to come up with a very simple concept. Let's imagine there's a guy at work who has not ever been for a trek. And you talk to him about trekking, you show him pictures and all. Nothing big. Very easy. Right? And then you say, okay, you think it's easy. Right? You really think it's easy. But unless you've climbed it, you know it's not that easy. Right? So at that time, he is not even conscious of the fact that he's incompetent to make the trek. Right? There's a competency factor to it. After 4 or 5 treks, you know you can climb Nagala very well. You know you can find the place very well. Right? But the first time that you went, or before that you went, if someone, friend said, oh, it's easy, it's not really that easy. Right? So he is unconscious. Unconscious about his own competence. There's something called unconscious incompetence. In fact, there's a classic tool that we use. It's called the 4 stages of learning. Unconscious incompetence. Right? And then he comes with you on a trek, and here you are, you're a 5-trek veteran. He comes with you, and then he says, John, what you said was right, man. I'm puffing and puffing. I really think it's tough, man. It's not that easy. I thought it was very easy, but it's tough. But you know what? I understand my limitations now. He might pretend that he's okay and all that, but at some point he's going to say, I'm conscious of my incompetence. So he's learning from the previous stage, where he was totally unconscious about his own incompetence. Now he's come to a stage where he's conscious of his incompetence. And then, the 4th or 5th trick that you guys are doing, you are actually conscious of your competence. Now you know that you can tie a knot better. Now you know that you can swim better. Now you know that you can help somebody else better. You are actually getting better and better by the 4th or the 5th trick. You are actually conscious. The final phase is unconscious competence. After the 5th or 6th trick, you don't think about it. It just comes to you naturally. Right? So everything that you learn in life goes through these 4 stages. Unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, consciously competent, and then finally unconscious incompetence.